notified, our City Council has proposed that the City formulate a formal distracted driving policy. We have a fleet in our city of about 400 vehicles, and of course there's hundreds of different employees who are going to be driving them. Richmond is very aware of the road hazards that our employees and our residents face. Every step that we can take to reduce those hazards make Richmond a safer place in which to work and in which to live. In honor of this occasion, I have drafted and signed a proclamation, and I would like to read it out. Whereas motor vehicle accidents are the leading cause of death of workers in the province of BC, with more than 30 workers killed each year, and 25% of all motor vehicle accidents that occur annually in BC can be attributed to drivers being distracted. Therefore, I, Brodie, as the Mayor of the City of Richmond, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2011 as Distracted Driving Prevention Month in the City of Richmond.
I can tell you, some people are still not getting the message. From February 1st, 2010 to the end of June this year, police, to their credit, have issued an alarming 36,921 tickets to drivers using electronic devices while driving, and a further 1,081 tickets to drivers who were texting while driving. The truth is that every time we get behind the wheel, we have people's lives in our hands. Whether they're the lives of our passengers or others in vehicles, or pedestrians, or bicyclists. If you still use an electronic device while driving, whether you're texting on a cell phone or flipping through a playlist on your iPod, checking your emails on a smartphone, even if you're stopped at a red light, it's time to recognize that you are driving while you're distracted. It's time for you to start new driving habits. We simply cannot drive distracted without putting our lives and the lives of others at risk. I'm here today to remind you of what we often forget, that driving is a task that requires our full, undivided attention. This isn't about obeying a law just to avoid a ticket or a penalty. It is about being part of a province where drivers recognize that they play a part in the safety of our roads and take that responsibility seriously. Thank you.
On average, 30 workers are killed every year as a result of these incidents, and studies have shown that 25% of all vehicle crashes in BC can be attributed to drivers driving while distracted. That means that about a quarter of all work-related motor vehicle incidents are caused by distracted driving. Distracted driving is a serious issue, and we want to remind employers, workers, supervisors to stay safe wherever you're working, whether that is in a manufacturing plant or on the road, and to keep the workplaces you're responsible for as safe as possible, whether that workplace is a plant floor or a car. All drivers, especially those driving for work, need to make sure they're alert and aware when behind the wheel. Workers, minimize all distractions. Follow your company policy. It's there for your safety. Changes you're making here in Richmond. And employers need to make sure that your supervisors and workers follow that policy. So WorkSafeBC is delighted to be working with our partners ICBC, the DCA Road Safety Foundation, and Preventable.ca in educating everyone on the importance of driving without distractions. There's a great deal of work to be done, and today is certainly an important step. To help deliver the message, WorkSafeBC has developed several resources, including a sample employer policy on distracted driving that you can download from our website and adapt to your organization. Tips for drivers on how to ensure their own safety and reminders of their right to refuse unsafe work, including driving while distracted. We've also had resources for supervisors on how to communicate and reinforce to their workers the importance of this issue. We've also developed a short video on distracted driving which illustrates the danger. I'd like to show you that video now. If you would drive. Many of us drove here today from our offices or work sites. And while most of us probably didn't use a cell phone, how many of us drove while drinking coffee or grabbing a quick bite or checking the map to get to this location? You know, as preventable.ca reminds us, perhaps it's time we had a word with ourselves about all the distractions that take our eyes and minds off the road. Getting people to change habits is difficult, but it can be done, and we're here today to initiate that change. If you remember just one thing from today, remember that when you're behind the wheel, driving is your only job.
Distracted driving is more than just using technology when driving. It represents a range of activities that impact the driver's visual, auditory, physical, and cognitive abilities when driving. This includes the use of electronic devices such as scrolling through a music list on an MP3 player, driving with a dog on your lap, putting on lipstick, eating your morning yogurt, and using an electronic razor. It's quite unbelievable the things that police officers have witnessed some people attempt to do while driving. The unfortunate fact is that each year, police officers in British Columbia have to attend to numerous serious collisions and deaths that are completely preventable, caused by these inattentive and distracted drivers. We want to change this behavior. If individuals won't change these dangerous driving habits by educating them on the risks of distracted driving, then they face the prospect of a $167 fine. The message that police want to get across is that when getting behind the wheel of a motor vehicle, always put away your cell phone, electronic gadgets, and other distractions and make the right choice by focusing on the road.
Some people may think that distracted driving isn't as dangerous as other behaviors such as driving impaired or speeding. However, the statistics show differently. You've heard earlier that about a quarter of all fatal crashes in BC are caused by driver distraction. That's on average 98 people a year who lose their lives because of a distraction. A distraction can be anything that causes you to lose your focus or take your eyes off the road for even a second. The most common form of distraction, though, is using a personal electronic device while driving, such as a handheld cell phone. Since new driver distraction laws took effect in 2010, we seem to be moving in the right direction. A recent Ipsos Reid survey conducted on behalf of ICBC found that nearly 9 in 10 respondents, about 87%, believe texting or emailing while driving is one of the most risky things we can do behind the wheel. In fact, 76% said it's just as dangerous as drinking and driving. However, while the majority of the survey respondents recognize the dangers, about 16% admitted they've talked on a handheld cell phone in the last 12 months. And about 9% confessed they've texted or emailed on a handheld device while driving. And we can all do our part to help create a culture where friends, families, and colleagues do not expect us to answer the phone or a text message while driving. What can you do? Place calls before you drive. Make any important calls prior to leaving the parking lot, your home, or your office. Otherwise, wait until you get to your destination. Pull over to make or receive a call. If you must take or make a call while in your vehicle, pull to the side of the road when you can safely do so and make sure you're not a danger to other vehicles. Take a message. Let your voicemail pick up the calls. It's easier and much safer to retrieve your messages at a later time. Plan to avoid distraction. Before you get in your car, turn your phone off, or put it in the trunk of your car, or put it in the back seat. Decide before you begin to drive that you'll not respond to a call or a text message until you're safely and legally parked. Focus only on driving. As you've heard earlier, driving requires your undivided attention. When you're behind the wheel, focus only on your driving.
So whenever you're ready, pick up the calculator. And just make sure it's on. Simple math here, 5,000 times 7. So I want you to put 5,000 times 7. 5,000. We're going to make a right at the NC intersection. So you might want to get the right. 5,000. Slow down there. That person was going to throw the light too.